so much for coming today. So what you're hoping to learn today is a bunch of database strategies. I don't normally take a call. However, one of my database strategies is to give the most current information on what happens with the market, because it impacts all of your clients the same way that it impacts mine. Yeah. And so having timely alerts for things like what's happening with interest rates sometimes is crucial and time sensitive. Okay, so I apologize for doing that in front of you guys, but I appreciate your patience. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Lizy Hoeffer. I've been a residential loan officer since 2008, so I have seen lots of economies, right? I've seen literally the bust, I guess if we're calling it now in comparison, to the Great Recovery, the Great Recession, the whatever we're calling the pandemic years. Okay, so I've seen a lot, and I can tell you that in any economy, any market, any place in your business, your database is going to be the key fundamental, like the foundation of where you get your referrals. Okay, so knowing how to communicate to people, knowing who to communicate with, like the right people, and how to provide value is going to be critical to you guys growing your business year after year. So I've chosen to partner with the absolute best person I know. She is a huge producer, guys, 100 million, closed 195 transactions with her team. She does not take any outside leads from Zillow or the internet or whatever. All of her business comes 100% from her sphere of influence, Miss Torie. So everyone give a big round of applause.
I love it. It's like my favorite thing. So I'm Torie Ellens, lead a team here, and yes, I do all of my own stuff off of Sphere. Haven't taken a lead in 2 years. But you guys know who this is, right? Lizy? Mm-hmm. I always want you guys to know, because I think that so many times you can come to classes and you can sit and you can listen to people and you're like, oh, I know who Lizy is, right? But I don't think many people have the depth of like her stopping at class and telling her team to lock rates. I just posted on my story, lock your loans now. If Lizy stops a class for something, it's time, right? Listen. So the one thing I can tell you about Lizy and I is we've been together for several years now in business. And from the very beginning, I knew that she was an absolute killer when it came to loans. And if you want the best in the business, and if you want to be the best in the business, you need to partner with the best in the business. It shows how strong you are to have partners that are top of their field. So when I tell my clients, I don't just say, hey, I need you to call Lizy. I say, you need to call the #1 female loan officer in the country, because she knows her shit, and if there's anyone else out there who knows more than Lizy, you find them for me. You're not going to find them. But I'm very clear on, like, this is the one you need. Did you just permanent marker that? I did that to Russ's whiteboard.
Why would they put this here?
Oh
my God, it's
just say I did.
Can you go see if there's something I can wipe that with?
That's a mark, I did that. Wait, you want it up?
I do want it up, and then I want to go and fix that later. Oh my God.
So anyway, guys, if you're not using Lizy as a lender, you need to talk with her. Trust me, your clients will thank you. She also speaks Spanish. I don't. She does. So there's many times I'm like, Lizy, I need you to talk to this lead, and she'll do it. But you need to assess that, because your strength is as strong as your vendors. And I can tell you that my vendors are the best that are in the business, and this is my lender. So if you don't know Lizy, you need to know Lizy. And you should, but leave Lizy alone. I say that my husband quotes that. Every time I say something, well, Lizy, leave Lizy alone. And I'm like, that's so funny that your marketing is that powerful. I don't even think I have a slogan he would know, other than she's killer.
The key to that, guys, is alliteration. It uses like 3 same letters, and so it rhymes. Anything that rhymes, use alliteration, is very memorable. Okay, so my favorite type of classes, and also thank you for the awesome plug, are the ones where I come and learn exactly what I came to learn. So I brought, we have this really great workbook, but if there is something that you are dying to know, it would be really helpful if right now you let me know so I could write it down and I make positive that we nail it, okay? So raise your hand if you got something you came here to absolutely find out.
When do you remove someone from your database?
Okay, so removing people from the database. Okay.
You'll like my answer to that. I have a worst client tag list that I put.
Energy to do what you do as a mom and then run such a fantastic business. I mean, what do you eat? Nails? I'm just wondering.
You want me to write so you could
It's
talk?
not very business-minded, but I need to know.
No, I love that. Thank you.
How do you work your database, and just like how do you pair other tools with it to make it really successful? Because a database by itself really is just a list.
Yes, girl. Okay. Anything else? Okay. If you think of something, right, we're going to be answering questions throughout the class. The more energy you give us, the better presenters we're going to be, okay? Awesome. So just a couple of housekeeping stuff, right? So I put a list down here. Everyone knows what a database is, right? Sometimes I teach a class and people are confused. I'm just going to give you my definition because it's slightly different than what you would Google, okay? But there's a marketing list, okay? So people that you know and email and contact, you know, leads that came in through Sync, whatever, people you met in your open house. And then there is a database full of relationships. So people that if they saw you in a grocery store, they're going to go, oh my God, Rick, right? They're not going to go, right? If they can't recognize you, they're not in your database, okay? Now, or they're not under, like, you're not in real relationship, I would say. Because there is a place to put potential relationships. But that's what a database for me. In order to have a successful database, I think you need a couple of key pieces of information. First and last name. I do think family status is important, okay? Email, phone number, and then where they're at in social media, okay? Now, these are some additional features that aren't necessarily told to you in most business things, but since we're going to be highly leveraging social media tools, right, for these types of database strategies, I'm going to recommend that if you do not have any, right, that you get on it, minimum Facebook. Okay, write that down secretly, okay, if you're not on social media. Okay. People often, how many of you guys don't have a database right now? This is not judgment, I just want to gauge some space. Okay. All right, for those of you who have a database, when was the last time you actually looked at it and updated it? Let's say this year. Okay, well, I'm coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Who hasn't seen their database in maybe like a year? Okay, all right. So people who are a little shy here, there's no judgment here, but a database, guys, should be updated every 90 days. So I need you guys to write that down. Every 90 days. All right. Now, how I like to categorize my database, and Torie's going to give her feedback on this, is I like to break them down into categories. So if you have closed a deal with me, right, I count you in as a past client. If you have yet to close a deal with me, right, you are in a current client list, right? So I have clients and I break them up into past and current, okay? And then I have influential people. So these are people that have a network and that can influence their network. Okay, so this is like PTA mom president. This is my pastor. This is the HR director, right? Somebody who has real influence over a group of people. And then I have business people, right? So people that are in industries that would and can refer. Okay? How do you break up your database?
I do that as well, but I think when you're looking at your current clients in the real estate world, and I know you have this just on a different level, you should also have it to where at a quick glance, if I said to you, who's your next 30-day people, you should be able to tell me that as well. So not just a hot category or a right now current client, but are they a 30, 60, or 90? Those are the categories that you should have at the front of your mind every single day. You should be analyzing who is in those categories and at what level you need to give them attention, as well as my raving fans. You call them VIP, I call them VIP raving fans. Those are the people that are going to tell everyone about you no matter what. They hear real estate and they're like, they could be at a party and they're not even talking to that person, but they hear real estate and you've got to call Torie. You have to. They will go across the room and make sure they know that. those are something that I would have, again, however you want to call them, best clients, worst clients, raving fans, however it is, but you should also know your right nows, because many of you will miss a client by 30 or 60, maybe 90, especially that 60 to 90, because you're not following up enough with them, and one day they decide to get on Zillow and they call someone else.
So that was a nugget of information that I personally don't have in my database that I literally am going to take and also apply. It's super huge, and what she's talking about is how you leverage your pipeline, right, in database strategies. Okay, so this is super huge. Write that down. That was a good nugget. Next thing you want to do, guys, is, and at minimum, right, these 3 lists should have a minimum of 150 people. Okay, and that's like your bare minimum in terms of database. Ideally, everyone wants to get a list of 300 people that they can be in relationship with. Okay, and so if you don't already know 300, right, the next list you're going to comprise are potential people, right? So people that you might recognize them in a grocery store, but they don't recognize you. You know they have influence. You know they're in a business profession that could refer to you. You know that they have a need to move, like they just had twins, right? Like these are people that you're going to want to put into a prospective list, right? And that list you will also market and sort how we're going to show you here. So what Torie was also alluding to, guys, is how I rank clients. So there's a lot of different programs for this. This is my own, okay, based on a bunch of coaching from the Core and Buffini and wherever else I've been mentored in the past. But I like to base 100% of who's in my database on how much I like them. That's the first criteria. And how likely they are to refer me, okay? So I've given you these categories. So this is referral frequency, okay? So when she was talking about raving fan, you know, if somebody mentions like a home loan, right? So how many of you guys are in the My Home Group Mastermind? Okay, there's a couple. Did you see that they asked for a referral for a Spanish-speaking loan officer? It was, I literally LOL'd, you know, how there's like 12 people said Lizy Hoeffer, right? It was awesome. That's a raving fan, right? Someone knows a need, they're like willing to like refer you, and they refer you with like a paragraph, okay? Or someone who like mentions home loans and they're like, oh my God, leave Lizy alone, right? Like these are the people that are walking commercials for you, right? And you want at minimum, well, you want at minimum 1, okay? But ideally, a business can function and be top producing if you have 25, okay? Because a raving fan is worth up to 4 closed clients a year, okay? Now, sometimes it's hard to get to that. So what are some examples of raving fans that you have?
And he's the hiring director for Owner Health.
Okay.
And I pay nothing. I don't pay referral. I don't do any of that. He loves me to death. He sends me everybody in other departments. If they're like, oh, we're onboarding somebody from another state, he's like, you need to call my realtor. And he intros me in a joint email, and then I do it from there. But that's a great one. One that you guys may not think of, though, is services that you use. So I love this, and I don't think a lot of people think of this. I get my car serviced at the dealership. Why? Yeah, do I pay a little bit more, but they give me a loaner. It's easy, right? My guy, who's my, like my service advisor, he knows I'm in real estate. He knows that I'm the best in this industry. And he'll have clients that are from out of state that are like, oh gosh, because again, they build relationships. If they're very good with you, they're probably talking to all of their clients, right? And they build these relationships, and he'll be like, oh, so this is the second car for you, and you're looking for a house here. You got to call her. Those are things like that you got to think. If they're dealing with out of state, and if somebody's needing car service, they're probably either, you know, like looking, or they have a home here. Maybe they're going to sell it and buy again. But simple things where you're building relationships, and people are in positions to talk to mass population where they trust these people.
So one key thing I want to distinguish from what you just said. So the first person was really easy, right? Head of
hiring. He's
head of hiring. So he is going to come into contact with people relocating. Yes or no, right? Mm-hmm. So we know he's in a position. Okay. Secondly, he's the head of his department, which means that he has influence. People see him as a leader. Okay. next criteria, right? And what makes him so awesome is his willingness, right, to refer. There are people who have influence, there are people who have leadership positions, and there are people who will not refer you. Okay, I'm going to give you a good example. I used to work the auctions back when foreclosures were a big thing, and I drove to Tucson to do an auction. Okay, I'm pre-qualifying a lady who says that she works in the quality department at Raytheon. My mom works in the quality department of Raytheon. She sits right next to my mother, who happens to be her supervisor. And she told her she was going to go buy an investment property that weekend. Did my mom refer me? No. And you know why? You know what she said? I have to work with her. What if it goes wrong? Right? So you just know, like, there will be people that you know in high places, influence with leadership, that will not refer you. Okay? Right? And so my mom's not on my database. Like, I do not market to her. I love her. She gets she gets a daughter birthday present, but I'm not going to market to my mom. Like, she's not getting a prospecting call from me. Okay? So just be aware, because you will have the same type of people. Now, the next person is, again, he comes into contact with a bunch of people. Okay? He's smart, builds good rapport, right? Because his job is based on tips and good surveys. Okay? And he has high willingness, right, to refer out, right? He gets relationships. Okay, so these are the three key things that she's nailed instinctually, like, that she just got. All right, the next type of category is a promoter. So this person has to know that there's a need, and they will also refer you, similar to a raving fan. Okay, so they have to know that somebody is in the market. Okay, a good way to distinguish raving fans and promoters is to ask for a need on social media for anything, and you will see who in your database is likely to refer someone. Okay. The next one is passive. This is where the majority of your clients will live. Okay, is they will refer if asked personally. So I would have to go, Marina, who do you know, right? And Marina would then refer, but Marina could know that I have a need, right, and wouldn't refer. So my mom actually falls under this category, right? So if the lady had asked her if she knew, right, of a good loan officer, she would say my daughter, right? But like, she's not willing to put her neck on the line. Okay, 60% of the population falls under that category. Okay, which kind of sounds sad. However, write this down. This is a good nugget to take from this class. They will work with whoever has the strongest opinion and gets them the next step first. Okay, which is why Torie is excellent at her database, because she is persistent and always in front of the client, and apparently stays really on top of frequency, like when they're buying, how hot they are.
Yeah, and you guys have to understand that in this market right now, like, take that, this is going to be information you can use in any market, but in this particular market, if you are not reaching out to all of your clients just to tell them what a great job they did in their purchase, even if you didn't represent them, you're missing an opportunity. Because everybody right now is hearing what? The market's hot, and they have a ton of equity, right? But they don't know exactly how much equity. Your average client just knows they have a lot of equity. And they may get flyers, and I love when they go, well, Zillow, or this, or that. That's great, that's an algorithm. Let me just tell you exactly how much you have in there. If I listed your home today here, because equity in a home is like chips at a casino. They do no good unless you cash them in. They may be having a kid ready to go to college, and you just showed them a path that they could pay for college out of the equity in their home. They may want to get an investment property, right? Like, you have to, but you need to be the resource that shows them exactly how much equity is in their home. And I can almost guarantee in this room, more than half of you have not reached out, because it doesn't matter if you sold them the home. That doesn't matter. What matters is you're showing them the value in their great decision. Okay.
Now, next thing is detractors. So, people you've made angry. Okay. So, in anyone's business, okay, it is impossible to please 100% of everyone you come in contact with. Okay, it's just impossible. But you have to. A good business does not ignore angry clients. They receive feedback, and they have a process for utilizing the feedback, one, to get better, and then two, like, people who are angry enough to leave a bad survey or angry enough to like call in, or they can actually be converted to raving fans pretty easily by just listening to them and hearing them out and showing them that you're willing to do something about it, okay? So, and a long time ago, I actually went to a seminar where someone read like this angry email that they had received and then how they responded and what they ended up doing. And the client literally has now financed like I think 10 home loans with this same person, and it's really awesome to hear. But there is a, you know, they joke there's a fine line between love and hate. Like if they care enough to hate you, they'll care enough to love you. You need to have a good process for how you handle angry clients. Okay, so that's another nugget, guys. A lot of your competition just will ignore them or just be like, oh, they're haters or whatever. I try to pay attention to every single person, and we have a formal I'm sorry program in my database. Okay, now somebody asked about how to remove a client. Okay, if when I look at your phone number, I have a gut reaction that's like, ugh, okay, you get deleted. That's my rule. If I don't like you, I will not do business with you. Okay. And the reason for that is because our central nervous system is comprised to keep us safe. The more times you do things that you do not want to do, the harder it actually becomes over time. Like people say it gets easier, it doesn't, right? Your body tries to keep you safe, and working with assholes,
keep it real.
Like it's just
Not worth it.
it's just not worth it. And you will spend way more time and enjoy your prospecting way more by just working with people you like.
100%. I refuse. And fortunately, I have the luxury in my career where I can do that. When I was brand new, I was like, oh my God, right? But quickly I learned that my time is worth more than being treated like a just absolute piece of shit. I'm not there. I'm not your child. My spouse, the people in my life don't speak to me like that, so you for sure won't. And I make that clear even on cross agents. If I get an agent that gets all uppity and they start cursing and yelling, I'm like, my voice gets quiet and I say, you know, sadly, you sound like you're upset. And this is a professional career, and I'm a professional. I'm sure you are too. But right now, your emotions are controlling you. I'm going to let you go, and when you calm down, we'll follow up and we'll talk again. But I refuse to let somebody talk to me like I'm their dog, or, you know, that's not my job. Go get a counselor. It's not my fucking problem.
Now, the other thing is there are people that we can't delete in our database. Okay, so my mom's one of them. Okay, I can't really delete her phone number. Okay,
If you have a client though that's awful, you guys are at my home group or wherever you're at, you have other agents in your office.
you can always refer.
Catch a referral for that.
100%. So referral's a good strategy, but there are people that we cannot get rid of. Okay, like if your sister-in-law asks you to sell your house and you really don't get along, are you going to be like, no? Maybe, maybe not. You might refer them. But so what I always do is I actually have a category in my phone, and if you are qualified for my not marketing to you list, I put a Z in front of your name. Okay, and that way you just end up at the bottom, and when I go through my phone list, you just don't come up for me. Okay, so I just want to give you guys some strategies for that, but that's my rule of thumb.
That's a great opportunity though if it's someone you don't want to work with. Those are usually the people that are going to try to like eat you up on your commission and get a credit and all that. That's a great opportunity to go, you know. It is just my brokerage's policy that we don't cut our commission. We don't do that because I don't need to pay for business, and so we're really not allowed to buy business.
Love that.
Maybe it's someone else's fault though. Like my team, I always tell my team, don't make me the person. It's my rule, not yours. And then I'm the team lead, so I'm like, it's my broker's policy. I really wish I could help you again. Want to call Mark?
Okay, so for those of you who do not have an organized, sorted database, okay, or you want to start doing that right away, here's the fastest way to get it done, okay? So go in your phone, okay? So one of the biggest obstacles I get from people who just started real estate or, I don't know, or who are 100% online lead generation is that they do not know 100 or 300 people, okay? If you go scroll to the bottom of your phone, I have never, ever seen less than 162 contacts in somebody's phone. Okay, that's the literal bare minimum. Most people have hundreds, if not thousands. Okay, so you at least know enough people to call. And then you're gonna pick a day and coordinate it with an alphabet letter, right? So we're going to start with A, not to complicate things, right? So tomorrow we'll start with A and call all of the A's. How it goes in my phone is I look, if you don't have a last name, I didn't really know you. Okay, so I delete you immediately. Okay, if you have a last name, I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out how I know you, your industry, all the things. Okay, and then I will call and touch base with those people, right? So example, I do this once a year. I know this guy named Aaron Seabaugh. Okay, he was a car salesman. I met him several years ago. And every couple of years when I'm updating my database, he gets a call from me. Every single time I have called him, without a fail, I have gotten one hobo. I'm like, Aaron Seabaugh's first last name in my phone. He's a promoter. He gets birthday cupcakes. He was invited to open with me last week because every time I call him, I get a what? Loan. Okay? So this is how easy it can be for you guys, right? But start with the letter of the day. After 30 to 45 days, depending on how many contacts you will have a completely sorted database. Okay, and then I'm going to send you after this class an account pyramid so that you can start keeping track of people's referral frequencies. Because at the moment, you probably haven't collected the data to know if somebody really did give you enough deals to close 4 deals a year. Okay, so we will work on that.
I would go one step further, again, in my industry with your contacts. I could literally pull up my phone and show you name and source. So in other words, if you ask me, hey, who's your contractor, you're going to get a contact that I share with you that says Mark Lee Tender, contractor / handyman. Okay, so in my phone, it's so-and-so buyer referred from who? Or so-and-so buyer Zillow 222, right? I don't take so, but when I used to, right? But that's my point, is that you need to know when that phone rings and it says, even somebody you're like, this person ain't buying for a year, it better say who they are and the source at minimum. So you could go, no, yeah, John, we talked, yeah, I know, you said you were about a year out, and you came in on Zillow. Now all of a sudden, you know who that person is. When my phone rings, especially on all referrals, so, you know, when I make that first call, I'm mentioning that referral, I'm talking through that. So take it a little bit further if you're dealing with buyers, sellers, and what that source is. Because when you talk to them 3 years from now, it's right there. And you've done a few transactions with them. Isn't it funny? You came in on Zillow and here we are 4 transactions later. Do you see that? That reference. I've got a pretty good memory, but I promise you, you start producing 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, and you're gonna, all those people. When we have our events and 175 people show up, I know their name, but guess what I remember? Is their name tag in my phone. And if I'm like, shit, what was that? I like check real quick, oh, that's right, they referred from somebody. Do you see my point though? Take it just a little bit further. So that way you sound like you remember them with every detail.
Now, what she's also referencing too, guys, do you notice that in order to capture all that detail, she puts it in her phone, but she also has a client relationship management system. Okay, so that's known as a CRM. I use Salesforce. You don't need anything as robust as that. I do run like 30 people sales team, so that's why I got something like that. You can use Follow Boss, Lines Desk. You guys use Sierra Interactive, right? So if you do not have one right now, I would write it down. If you are new and needing like the cheapest way, get a Google business account, right? And you can sort in that and put everything in there that way. And then later on you can export the CSV files into something more robust. Okay.
Boomtown, my home group has a account that I think it's $75 or $50 a month. I don't know. It's something you guys
KV Core?
No,
they do
Boomtown.
have KV Core and they have Boomtown. They have both.
But either way, the point is this. Lines Desk is super cheap. What I would not recommend is just looking at cost, because changing CRMs, I did it 3 times in the beginning of this team. It's a nightmare. So I would not recommend changing CRMs. I would do your research a bunch first and make a decision. But a CRM, I don't see that as an option. You have a car, right? You have to put gas in it. It's not an option. Unless you have an electric vehicle, but you still need a source of power. Mm-hmm. That's how I see CRMs, okay? It's a must. This is not an option. You will not operate efficiently, you will miss deals, and you will screw something up and piss someone off, And most importantly, make a call and they go, "I bought 6 months ago." That one transaction would have paid for a CRM for the whole year. You will miss opportunities if you do not have a solid CRM.
So, in addition to a CRM, remember when I said utilize the social media? This is what we're going to talk about with leverage. So as you're going through the phone, making these phone conversations, sorting, categorizing, you're going to add them to social media. It's where you can pull their hobbies, their birthdays, their spouses, right? You can get a lot of information. Facebook for me is the easiest one to categorize on, and believe it or not, like even if it's not the main one you use, people still check their Facebooks. Okay, it has a very high, if not the highest percentage of daily active users. So whoever told you that it's like yesterday's news, it's not, and it owns everything else. So there is that. So I would recommend Facebook. You can actually sort people into lists there too to help you categorize. But I love it. And here's the other thing. I can't always, like based on, so my team closes about 1,200 loans a year. Okay, so at this point in time, it is physically impossible for me to maintain all of the levels of communication that I would like. Okay, but people still feel like they're in relationship with me because I am an active poster on the phone. Like people see my social media all the time. They see updated photos of my children. They hear my voice because they're watching my videos, right? In fact, 2 people in this room see me predominantly in social media. Do you feel like we are in relationship? Okay, right? So I will tell you, like, it's very, very, very important, okay, for you guys to utilize and be consistent on social media when it comes to database strategies.
You should be blocking time in your calendar. Any of you have heard me talk, the one thing I talk about is calendar. You live and breathe by that. You should be blocking time in your calendar every day to go through and to comment and make interactions with people on social media.
2 hours every day. And I like and comment more than I post, right? Because I'm trying to find life events. I'm trying to find ways to have conversations. I want people to know that they're important to me.
You see somebody who has a loss, right? Everybody's going to post, "I'm so sorry for your loss." No. Pick up the phone and get a food delivery and get it brought over to them. Because when you lose somebody, the last thing you think about is food. It is the easiest way to get in front of someone with a loss, if they're local.
What other life events do you track?
Everything. Birth, death, marriage, engagement. I don't know, their kid got something. And
she's like the queen gift giver, guys. So like...
Oh no, you're the queen. I try to follow in your amazing footsteps. Lizy has a program for everything, but I do try to give unique gifts, right? Like I brought her flowers that
oh my god,
yellow.
you guys, I had like a terrible day. Favorite color is yellow. I'm not kidding. There was like, when life gives you lemons.
I put lemon.
It was like lemonade, beautiful flowers. I mean, it was funny. And then a thing of baby shark. I mean, her gifts are so unique and therefore they're timely and they really feel like she knows you. And well, she does know you, but like.
So like if I have someone coming in from out of town and they're, again, you're not going to do, if they're buying a $400,000 home, scale this to what they're buying, okay? But if I have, most of my clients are like 800, $1 million, $4 million, whatever, and I know they're coming into a hotel, I find out where you're staying, why. I don't tell them why. I'm like, I want to make sure that you've got great restaurants around where you're staying. If you want to Uber, whatever it is, are you getting a car or do you need my driver to pick you up? That's another thing. Again, scale this to price point, but you see the experience I'm creating for somebody? You think they're going to call somebody else or walk into an open house and buy when I've sent my driver to the airport for them? No. But either way, at minimum, okay, take some time. You can go on Amazon. You can go to these little shops if you want to shop local and pick up a cute little gift bag of all little Arizona sunblock. You can do water with your labels. That's super inexpensive. And deliver a gift basket to the front desk with their name on it, so when they check in from you, they've got a little gift basket of Arizona local stuff. That's a great way to get in front of somebody that's coming, relocating, or second home. Trust me, the more personal touch you have, the more relationship you have, you are not going to lose that client.
Now, I've given you a communication pyramid, right? Because some people also get confused and think that they're going to do all of their prospecting based on social media. Okay, the highest conversion you will always have is what you said, the phone call. Okay, so a face-to-face, a phone call will always be better than a bunch of social media posts, but however, consistent social media posts gives people brand awareness, right? It provides value, it does create relationships, okay? So I just want you guys to be aware, this is like the stuff that is at the top, highest conversion versus lowest conversion in terms of how we want to do our database strategies.
People put on social media also businesses that they're promoting. Support them, they're going to want to support you back. It's just that natural thing.
Okay, so how many of you guys have ever felt overwhelmed calling friends and family telling them that you are a real estate agent? Okay, and if you didn't raise your hand, I know you're kind of lying. Okay, so it just is what it is. It is uncomfortable for us to call people we know and try to sell them on us. Okay, so and I have a lot of call reluctancy when it comes to people. Like if you give me an online lead, I started in a call center. I got a great hot girl voice. They call me back, right? Like this is the thing, right? I'm good at that. But friends and family always intimidated me, right? Mainly because they know you from when you're younger, like you're less, less proud days, So the thing is, for me, I had to figure out ways to provide value so it would be easier to call people, okay? So first things first, right? She gave you one about, hey, letting them know about the value that their house has increased, whether or not that you sold them the house, okay? So how would that script sound?
So one of the, I think you were in my class where I talked about the 100 CMAs. Mm-hmm. Everyone on my team has been tasked to send out 100 non-solicited CMAs, and then you follow that with a phone call. And literally in those CMAs, I just do the one line with like 5 properties. I want to get it as small as possible and give them a price point, and I handwrite that. If you have teenagers, you can pay that. But that phone call, if it's just the first one, is a phone call. The reason I like the CMA is it gives them something held, handwritten and held. Then when I stay on there, I'm going to text or call you and, just to make sure if that time works, but I'm going to give you a call to follow up with this. But if I haven't done that, the call is going to go, oh my gosh, Lizy.
Hello,
How
Torie.
are you? How have you been?
Oh, I'm good. So nice to hear from you.
Okay, so I had to call you because everybody's talking about this market, and I know it's hot, right? Like, it's hot, we know it's hot. My 15-year-old knows it's hot. But Lizy, you have no idea what an amazing job you did making that purchase 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I know, listen, it's not about like anything more. Maybe you could use that equity for a home remodel. I've got amazing lenders that can refi you and do a cash out refi. Most importantly though, just hearing something is hot doesn't really give you data. I'm gonna shoot you over in your email something that shows you what I think your home is worth, and I just want you to know because, man, in this market, what a great job you did. Just amazing purchase.
So, a couple key awesome things, right? And I put her on the spot. She's one, providing value first. Okay, like total value. And she is skilled. Obviously, she's practiced her scripts many times. Okay, an easy introduction also, like if you're not gonna go directly into saying, hey, I did a CMA, is, hey, I was showing homes in your neighborhood and I had to work on this CMA for someone else. And I wanted to send it to you because, oh my God, you have $200,000 in equity.
And that is another, so anyone that knows me at all knows one thing about me. I don't beat around the bush. There's zero break.
No.
I don't ever call and go, oh, how's the kid? I'm half the time I'm going to say good morning and people are like, good morning. It's like a joke. Like, I get it. But that's another approach, right? Because your touch has to be your touch when you make these calls. But I promise you, how many CMAs are you at? You got at 30?
30.
So you get out 100 unsolicited CMAs. And I want you guys personally to follow up with me and tell me your results. Because I promise you, you're going to generate at least 10 activities from it. Whether it's a referral, I promise you cannot not generate something out of 100 unsolicited CMAs. If you want more info on that, let me know. But it's a killer thing.
I got 2 responses in the first week.
Wow.
And that was
Great
not off
job.
30, that was what, off 10?
Off 10, yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic, guys. Now, the next approach, guys, I always call it's the business call. Okay, So I'm also one that gets to the chase. So I actually never ask people how they're doing or if it's a good time to call. Just, I learned that from my call center days. No one has a good time to talk to you, especially when you're selling them something, and you don't really care how they're doing. Okay?
Yeah, no, and those calls never started that way, ever.
So I always am like, oh my God, Jordan, I'm actually calling you on official business. I literally just made this call to a sorority sister of mine. I'm not kidding. So I literally said, hey Jordan, I'm actually calling you on official business. I saw you recently got married, and I know that you're going to end up wanting to buy a home with your husband, and I wanted you to know that I do home loans. And I know you probably already know someone and you have a realtor in your family, but I just want to know if I would be someone that you would consider in your home search. Okay? Now, she said this, well, my husband is a veteran and he has used USAA for his last 3 homes. And I said, that's amazing, and there's so many great things about USAA, but I can promise you that home loans is not one of them. Okay? And that's literally what I said. And I just said, but I love the opportunity. My team has done a ton of VA loans. In fact, if you look us up, we've done more VA loans than any other lender in Arizona. And I'd love to be the person that could just at least give you a quote, right? And so that was like one of our things. And I could gauge from that conversation, right? It's a business call. I saw she just got married. I had her phone number. We hadn't spoken in a while. One, they're going to go to USAA. Maybe, right? But how likely was she to at least encourage her husband to speak to me? Okay, so I can gauge a lot from that. The other thing is, if it's a good personal friend of mine, I just say, hey, I'm starting my business. I want to get aggressive. Like, I know you haven't used me for real estate in the past. I just want to know, 1, why, and then 2, what would I have to do to earn your business? That's actually how I very started. I was a receptionist, guys, and then I became a processor and someone's assistant. And then one day I had to become a loan officer because the recession hit and there was just no more processing jobs. Okay, and so I had to ask people, like, would they hire me? And if they wouldn't, I listened to the feedback and I was like, okay. And I got great feedback, guys. One person said, I will use you so long as you're available from 7 to 7, 7 days a week. And that actually became my marketing slogan for a long time. I was like, hey, I'm available 777, 777. It was great, right? But these were the strategies, and people gave me permission, 1, to ask them for business, and then told me how to work with them. Okay? These are very easy, like, calls that, 1, get straight to the point. Okay? Have you ever had a sale that made you feel like great and a sale that made you feel kind of dirty?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the sales that make you feel kind of dirty are the ones where you feel like you could have gotten a better deal or someone was trying to get one past you. Okay, the great sales are the ones where you go in and it feels clear and people talk to you in the way that you want to be talked to. So when you say, hey, I respect you, right, you're getting advice, you're telling people indirectly, I respect you, okay, and you're somebody that I love, right, so I love and respect you.
I would add to the earn your business, because I use that phrase, but one thing, there was a survey done, the number 1 quality that people are looking for in a realtor is trust. Look at all my team, they need to be yelling it out. Trust. So when you asking and you're saying to earn your business, one thing that I love to say is, what would I need to do to earn your trust to where no matter what, I have earned your trust to the level that I am 100% your go-to for real estate. What would I need to do? So earn your trust, because if trust is the number 1 thing that they're looking for, give them that. Tell them, what would I need to do to earn your trust to be your go-to? Money. And then listen to them. Did you say money?
That was money.
Has somebody said that to you?
No, your statement.
No, she said that was
okay.
money.
I was like, have they said that? I have a great response to that. Like, I'm a scripting is right. Sorry. I was like, oh, I got an answer for that. Okay, that's just the squirrel. Go ahead.
So now let's say you're too overwhelmed to call, okay, because calling is hard, okay. You can text message them or DM them, same thing. I literally copied and pasted from my own personal Facebook 3 different text messages, and actually these all went from Facebook, these were not texts, that I sent to people, okay. Now, when somebody is not on social media, another really great thing to say is, why aren't you on social media? I have no idea what's going on with you. Like, I say that makes people laugh. Or, hey, I could kick myself for losing contact with you. Like, how the hell are you? I say that to past clients all the time. Like, I could kick myself. You're one of my favorite people. How are you? Okay? So just know that there's ways, easy ways to disarm it. Like, but just cut to the chase fast. If you drop the ball, say, oh my God, I dropped the ball. If, like, you want to talk to them about business, I'm calling about business.
100%.
Great. Okay, so you guys can steal those text examples. All of them worked, every single one. And the next thing is, guys, one of the reasons why you want to get people's addresses is we want to send them a notification that you are in business. So I call this the letter of the heart strategy.
That is a requirement for all of my onboarding people. All of my people that join my team, the letter of the heart is a must.
Okay. Now, I write one once or twice a year, depending on how much. This is actually one I sent out when I transitioned companies at the end of the year. It was really nuts going from like an in-person business to like one day, literally without any notice, they told me all of my employees had to go home and work from home, and we didn't have the right phone system set up, and we were new to a company. I mean, it was horrible. Okay. And so I just wrote a letter about how stressful it was to be an entrepreneur in COVID and how grateful I was that everyone supported my business. And then I let them know of all the new features that we had now incorporated to make sure that their transactions were better and communication was better. And then I also said, because small businesses at the time, especially restaurants, were being hardest hit, and Grimaldi's was one of those restaurants where they thought they might have to close some locations. I normally donate quite a bit of money to charity at the end of every year, but I actually went and bought all of my clients a gift card from Grimaldi's. And like that was my donation to them, right, and the small business, right? So I do a couple of things here, right? It's I tell them how I am, I talk to them about a challenge or a success that I'm having, what I learned about it, what new things they can expect from my team, right, to provide to them, and then I always give some kind of gift. Right now, most of the time, it is a $1 scratcher ticket. Okay, so it doesn't have to be super expensive. Other times, I did like a 25% off at another restaurant later on that year. It was one of my clients' restaurants, right? But I'm really always just trying to show them how they're the hero in my story. Okay, that is really key. The biggest ways that I see people mess up in social media and in marketing is that they make themselves the hero. Who wants to help the hero? Seriously. No, everyone wants to help, the underdog. Everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to see themselves as the hero. Right. Okay? So super important that your clients are always the hero in your story. Okay? Any takeaways on this?
100%. Just that. I'm starting out, and I would really love your support. And then find a reason, to, again, ask for that help. Ask for their business.
How many of you guys got my newsletter this morning? You should have got it. If you're on, who gets my Monday emails? You might not have read it. I said, and then a bunch of little figurines is going on with rates, right? Because I was trying to. Now, that's a good example of taking information and sending it out and using it in a letter of the heart. I'm talking about how painful it is to have gone from 2% rates to 3% rates to 4% rates, and how that's painful, but then people can still afford houses. And I remind them in 2018, interest rates were in the 4%. Okay.
5 to 6 was a great rate when they hit. Yeah. I've been in long enough that was phenomenal. Big refi rush at 5%.
Absolutely. So take information like that. Talk about what it's like to work in real estate in a market where it's difficult to get clients accepted. Right? And then give them all of the strategies that your team or that you do to help them be successful in their transactions. Right? This is a good storytelling time. Whenever it's rough, guys, this is when we get more buy-in.
So, yeah, in our team, we do that, right? We say, listen, I get it. It's difficult. This is what you need to expect right now when buying a home. However, the upside is that this year alone, we've already done $30 million in real estate. So it's still working. There's still homes to buy, right? So then break that down for you. The good news is maybe you don't do a high volume, but maybe over the past 12 months rolling, you did 15 transactions. Do you need to verify or justify that it was 12 months? No. In the past several months, I've been able to get 15 buyers under contract. If you do a lot of first time buyers, like, what is your niche? And then put that in their head. That it doesn't matter what you're hearing on the news, right? It matters that people are still buying homes. And it's still something I can help you do. I'm different because this is what I do, right? This is what you can expect with me. We will find you a home, I promise. I've never had anyone homeless. I tell them that. Twice this year I pushed that to the very last minute and thought, Jesus, whoa. But we've still never had anyone homeless.
So, along with your letter of the heart, guys, what she's also talking about is a frequent email strategy. Okay? So, any good long-term sales, so just so you guys know, the average sales cycle for a brand new buyer is 259 days from like lead incubation to like when they close. So do you have to have a long-term strategy when it comes to communication?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So email strategy is another really great way and tool to leverage your time, right? One email goes to 5,000 people. Okay?
And your CRM will think for you. You put in drip plans where it's going to do it for you. Looks like it's you, but it's not.
100%. Okay, another really great way to make phone calls to people that are in your database that you're not trying to reconnect with, right? So it's Frog. So easiest conversation is, so ring, ring, ring. Torie.
Hey, Lizzie. What's up?
Hey girl, how's the family?
They are doing good. I'm ready to push one out the door.
Oh my God, she's getting so big. That's crazy. Any big vacations planned? Any big things for the new year?
Yeah, this summer, right? Like that's what we're gonna do.
No, keep going.
Yep, this summer I'm trying to get through the time because
No, we got
this summer we're taking the RV and we're gonna travel and see a little bit of the country.
Oh my God, how is that gonna work with real estate?
Oh, I've got a strategy in place.
Okay, well, if there's anything that I can do to help you with that, right? So, like, some of the best tools I got, best Wi-Fi for, like, traveling in an RV, blah, 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 okay? This is the Frog script. This is a note. Write this down. This nugget is good. Always take home homework from every call that you give, right? So I was trying to make her do that script, right, so that I could show you how I get to the homework, right? So she told me she's going to be traveling in the summer. I know potentially that she might have a Wi-Fi issue, right? If she's a VIP client of mine, I'm going to give her probably a list of the best RV places, and I'm probably going to buy her the best Wi-Fi that's available. Hotspot. Okay? Like, this is stuff that you can pay attention to, and then you can be like, hey, I know you're getting ready for your trip. How do you go? One of my best referral partners, I found out she was getting married in Vegas, and that she was going to Thailand. Before she was my referral partner, she was going to Thailand for her honeymoon. I got her literally, no shit, a net, bug spray, a travel book for the best things to do in Thailand, okay? And she said that all three of those things were things she actually needed. They needed a net, they needed the bug spray, and the book they used was the best thing that they had on travel. Okay, she absolutely became one of my referral partners, one of my VIPs. That's how you do a good Frog conversation, okay?
The odds are anybody in your database knows other realtors, right? There's 74,000 of us now, right? Odds are they know other people. How are you going to be different? They may be getting these same calls, marketing calls. How are you going to be different? Shut your mouth and listen. Like, that's literally what people need to do more, is listen. Then once you listen, your homework is do something unique around that client. If you're not that busy, you're going to be able to deliver it yourself. When you get busier, you're going to have an assistant who delivers it. When you get busier than that, you're going to have a process of push and play where, go, this does this, right? But you need to listen to these people, because when you listen and do something different than every other marketing person that's calling them, you're going to stand out.
Give yourself a reason to follow up, right? For those of you with call reluctance, call and follow up on it, right? How was the trip? How was traveling? How
And
did
put
the
it in your
hotspot work?
calendar and in your CRM. So every call that's made, you should have notes in your CRM of exactly what was said. And then that way, when you follow up, you can read your CRM and sound like you remembered everything.
Okay, so final strategy, guys, is host an event of any kind. Okay, so you can host a social media challenge, right? Best decorated house, best pumpkin carving, best green outfit, right? Honestly, seriously, you can do a social media challenge, right? Raise money for charity. You can do a drive-by if you're worried about COVID. You can host a happy hour, right? These are all things. I love events, right? You can get 8 touches from one event, right? The initial save the date, the phone call to follow up, the text message to confirm the details, right? Then the event itself, then it's the posting of the pictures, then it's the commenting on the pictures, and then it's the darn thank you note for coming to the event. Okay, that is so many touches for your database. Okay, I love events. And then very last thing here is we've given you a list of really cute gift ideas that do not break the bank. Okay, all things that are funny and memorable, guys. Best one I ever sent out was A1 sauces. Everyone's like, did you just seriously give me an A1 sauce? I'm like, yeah, you're on my A team. Like, you're calling me. It worked. Right? So just know cheesier the better. Okay, you want them to rhyme, be memorable, and not break the bank.
And the events, I love like face-to-faces. Every week you should be doing face-to-faces with clients, 3 to 5. But also your quarterly events. You could do a quarterly VIP client event. Anybody that was hot, actively looking, or went under contract. And if you're closing them and you do a couple of closings a quarter, that's real easy to host like a 2-hour happy hour. You order a few appetizers and do a couple drinks, and you're in my quarterly VIP happy hour because you're, bought a home with me this quarter, or whatever it is. But you should be in front of these people more often than you think.
Okay. Did we answer your question when it was talking about where to remove people? Okay. Did we answer the question about tools and leverage, or were you thinking of something else?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And then as far as the energy goes, okay, I'm very protective of my time and very protective of who's in my circle. Okay. So I wake up every morning at 5 a.m., drink a bunch of water. It's a necessity for me. Like I promise you, lemon water will change your life in terms of energy. I work out, and then I do a daily devotional. So I read the Bible. It helps me, and then I journal. Okay. I also try not to do anything business-wise before 8:30. That is my time. From 5:30 to 8:30, it is my time. I literally barely engage with my children. I'm not even kidding. It is my time. Then my day is super time blocked. If you guys want to reference this, we taught a class on this last month about time blocking. Everything is time blocked, color coded, thanks to Torie. And I just try personally, you're the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with energetically. And I don't allow anyone in my personal sphere that is super negative, complaining, right, or unhealthy. So I hope that answered your question.
Sounds good.
And I have a lot of help too. I have like a full-time nanny.
I can tell you that energy is going to come from your, how you wake up every day with your life. If your life is already scheduled, and that's where calendar I think is everything, if you know exactly what you have, and in calendar you should also block your personal time, okay? And you need to protect that just like you would if a client called you and said, I need to see a home today at 3, and you already have something personal blocked. Too many people let all of that throw off their calendar. You cannot, you are in control of your calendar, period. Period, 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 no exception, okay? And what you'd say to them is, you've got either a few options. That home you want to see, they're not allowing showings during that time. They do have this time or this time, right? That would be my go-to, because with COVID it made it so easy to be like, they're not allowing multiple showings at one time. Let me check, nope, that's blocked. If you need to buy or sell time, go, let me look that up, I'll call you right back, and then come up with that. But that would be the thing, you have to live according to those time blocked in your calendar. You have got to, period. And then my day, same thing. I start my day in a certain process, and every day it's kind of like Groundhog Day. But nobody gets to throw off my calendar. Nobody.
Okay. Any other questions that you guys have that we can answer for you?
What's your thought on LinkedIn for social media?
I think all of it. I think you need to be all of it.
Average income is $100,000 there. I get lots of leads from people there. I connect with other business people there. I post my lives on there and get a bunch of things. So I do like it as a social media platform. But I will tell you that people aren't as transparent, right? And so whenever you're looking at really developing relationships, I think it's on a social media platform more like Facebook.
Everybody's talking about like TikTok being like the new Facebook, Instagram at this point.
So it is, but it does, the messaging tool is very difficult to use, and it's hard to like look at comments. So if you're looking to grow your following, okay, it's a great place to send people other places. Okay, so like normally if you look at people's TikToks, they tell you where to find them on Instagram. That's fine. So yes, it's very popular medium, guys. So was Clubhouse for a hot minute. I mean, there's a lot of, like, I will say the best social media tool that you will use is the one that you're going to be the most consistent on, and the one where the majority of your clients are.
And if you're gonna do TikTok, if you're gonna do all that, be consistent with your brand. In other words, you've heard me talk for just a little bit. You know that I'm not the girl that's on there doing those stupid dances and those stupid, like that's not me, right? It's just not me.
And if that's you, she's sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm saying for you it works great. For me it wouldn't work because my client would be like, that's not Torie. Okay? For you, if you're doing it, it works great, but be consistent in that, right? But
and not from that standpoint, because there's a lot of realtors.
Yeah.
doing
Honestly,
stuff on
I'm not
there.
doing the dances either. Let's get real.
it's just not me. But if it's you, be your brand on all platforms. Be consistent on all platforms.
I was gonna say, because like you post like educational reels and things like that.
And I'm very, my clients, I like in teachings and stuff and with my team meetings, it sounds like I'm a sailor. But never have I cursed in front of a client. So to the point where when they curse, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. But that's me, right? That's me in my business, that's me. And you notice that in all my platforms. So if you saw me doing something weird like that, you're like, what, is she drunk? So be consistent in your branding. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Just a quick question. The letter from the heart, do you keep that title on there or you just get...
Oh, actually sometimes yes. It depends on if I couldn't figure out a catchy title or not. So sometimes I'm just like, this one was Letter from My Heart because I did feel I wasn't super proud of how we dealt with COVID. Like it was really like I didn't. So one thing that is, we have a dial phone where you can transfer out. Okay, you cannot transfer out to people's cell phones, and at one point in time you can't. Like that's just not how it works. The phone works with office phones. And so we had to like learn how to manage in this, and there was like, so it was very stressful, okay? So I felt like I needed to write an apology letter, but I didn't want to be like, apology letter. It was just like a letter from my heart, you know? Oh, did you have one?
Yeah, so it's 2 in 1. Sorry, it's many years ago I saw you at a national pretty influential presentation with some heavy hitters within the market, and I remember you saying to touch people via Facebook through the messenger, and so it's a 2-part question. One being that I'm noticing that only half of my people are following me, and then with that tracking, like I know you gotta like and comment and love on them, but as far as like I know you talked about your A's, but when you're tracking, like when you're doing your mojo within Facebook, do you have a system that you track those?
So yes, I sort and categorize everyone every day on their birthday. That's also when I delete you. So there's that. I try to delete you before Kristen wishes you a happy birthday though. Just kidding.
You delete people on their birthday?
They don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, that is the only way because you can't sort anything alphabetically. So it just is the best efficient way I've found. And honestly, if people are not engaging with me or not following me, again, after 90 days, I sort them into a different category. Like, this is important. You don't want to put energy and time into people that don't reciprocate it. There are a lot of people, guys, that I am not their loan officer. And that's totally fine. There's like, I think, what is there, like a couple million people in Phoenix? I got plenty of people to go for, you know? So just know that if they're not reciprocating, you gotta put them in a different list. They're in your passive list. They're not in your proactive list.
Videos are a great way to get following, like quick videos, not long.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was resting and I saw your face at 8 o'clock last night, and then I couldn't sleep. I was so excited to come. I'm like, oh my god! It definitely worked.
Videos, and posts and stuff like that, and then oftentimes do a contest. If you're just starting, like you haven't had an account, do a contest. Hey, I'm giving away this. Do a big, if you don't want to spend like a gift card where they can tell the value, then go and build a basket that looks incredible and give that away for everybody who follows me from now through X.
So one thing about the video too, this is really great. Anytime you're selling online, pay attention, go rewatch that video, okay? I say, if you are somebody who has blah, 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 here's why you will want to come to, and then I list bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, data below. Less than 30 seconds, guys. It tells people why they want to come, right, what value they're going to get out of it. Okay, Now, speaking of which, raise your hand if you got value out of today's class. Raise two hands if you're really excited. Okay, so Torie and I are not professional public speakers. She is graciously helping me with these classes, but she does own and uses exclusively Navi Phoenix title. Okay, so if you do not have a partnership with a title company, guys, this is the one that you want to work with because she has made it first class. Like I mean, I get 5-minute responses from title, which I have never had in my life. Okay, and it's because she cares about the best, like first class service from start to finish. So if you are looking for a title relationship, or at least send her your next escrow, right? That is what we are promoting here.
And I own an amazing, amazing team. So if you have ever thought that, hey, I'm at a place in my career where I need to take it to the next level, or maybe you're starting out in your career, we'd love to talk with you. Because trust me, our team is different. That's something that is passionate for me. Our team is different than most.
Yes.
And Lizy,
don't forget to
leave Lizy alone.
Okay.
One quick question before you guys go, because I'm trying to start some surveys on this. I have, for a long time, prescripting is something that I do very well, and I do it just off the cuff. And so I have for a long time thought about doing a scripting class. You said what? And if that's the case, if any of you guys are interested in scripting class, if you could just kind of, would any of you be?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying, because if I'm going to do this, I want to fill a room because it's going to be interactive. I'm going to, you be the clients, you ask me the question, I'm going to script you through it. And so if there's, not enough to fill an hour, I don't want to do it. But anyway, scripting is something, if any of you watched the Top Agent Smackdown, and I won that this year, and it's pure scripting. So scripting is something that I don't know, and it just rolls off. So just needed to see if anyone was interested.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome, guys.
Okay.
We'll send you the details for that. And thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.